Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Another Whisky Podcast. I am your host, Nicholas Pollacchi, joined in person for the first time in New York City, Mitch Bechard!
Ding, 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 ding. Nice, mate, nice. Good to be here.
Fantastic. Mitch, literally, so listeners, for you, this will be airing on October 7th. It is currently October 1st, so we do about a week out, but Mitch and I are going to put a few episodes together while we are both in person, and we thought this was a good opportunity to do a bit of a whiskey catch-up on some things. We're going to drink a few drams today, but also today, as of October 1st, the episode of Cask Investment has dropped. So if you've not listened to that, go back and give it a listen, because it's an absolute belter of an episode. We've been getting a ton of reach out on social media and other journalists taking a look at this because it's a really great piece. We hope you like that and hope it's quite insightful. Mitch, now we're in person 2 days after recording, where I was in Minnesota and you were in Edinburgh. And now look at us.
I know, mate. In
Two
New York.
dickheads in New York, yeah.
I can believe it. It's kind of weird doing this because normally we're like, it's a computer screen, we're doing it over Zoom. So yeah, it's good we managed to connect on this trip and actually sit down and drink some whiskey together for a change.
And for the first time ever, we're doing an episode without headphones in, because we can just sit right across from our microphones across a table.
We're not going to lie though, we are maybe a little bit hungover.
We did
I got a
indulge.
bit too excited last night seeing each other
we
for
did
the first time.
We did some, what's it called,
Excessive brand loyalty.
But
that doesn't really count anymore. Well, I suppose it does for you.
It does for me, man, because we were drinking for the first time ever. Actually, Mitch got to try Shibu.
Yeah,
so
good, man.
Yeah, we were drinking some 15-year-old sherry cask, which was the first one that you had that you thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
I then gave you a little bit of...
Which was my favourite again? I keep forgetting. Was it the single grain? No.
The single grain 15-year-old you really liked, or 10-year-old white oak you really liked. So you like the Okinawa stuff because you've never had whiskey like it, right? It's so unique.
Dude, that was a good dram as well. Like the last dram that I had with you last night, we just got the big rocks.
That was Grain Select. That's our wheat whiskey. So 95% wheat, 5% malted barley, matured in bourbon cask, all are also sherry, finished in Japanese Mizunara oak. And it's...
Mate, look at you. It's like you own the brand. You know that much about it.
It's almost like I know what I'm doing, right? So cool. Yeah, it was so good. We had some sushi. We got the wives together. And then Mitch and I disappeared up to the whiskey room.
A bit of a Japanese theme going on.
There was a bit of a Japanese... Funny that. That tends to be the nature of my life right now.
Do you know, I was thinking... Like, I was chatting to someone about you and I when we were in the States together. And... I reckon, like, for the first month when Joe hadn't come out to the US anyway, we were probably doing a bottle of whiskey easy every night when we were out. Easy.
Yeah, I know.
That's nuts, man. You think about that now. Like,
I can't do that now.
Dude, I'd be dying.
Oh.
I mean, 5
or 6 whiskies and I'm like, that's it. Even that sounds too much for me. I like just a dram or two at night if I'm out. I don't really drink a lot of whiskey at home, which you know that as well. Like, funny enough, I'll drink hard alcohol when I'm travelling or if I'm out doing events and tastings. But if the only time I ever drink whiskey at home is when people come over that want to drink whiskey.
See, that's interesting because I'll drink it by myself.
Oh yeah?
Is that a sign?
Just alone in the bathtub crying?
No, but because obviously I get more whiskey sent to me than you do because I'm more popular.
Shocking.
So I like to sit with it and go through it, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to get onto that in a second, but we're actually going to try some whiskies live on today's episode. But yeah, I was also thinking about like one of the funniest times that we spent together. Like, there was a load of shit that happened in the US that was hilarious, but do you remember the time when we went up to the GQ mansion that night?
Yes,
with Nadia and the stilettos.
I remember drinking out of a shoe, and did we not end up... Was Jeff Goldblum was playing the piano?
Jeff Goldblum was there.
He was playing the piano in the middle of the party.
But no, what happened... So to rewind a little bit and explain to everyone listening, right? So, we Glenfiddich had sponsored the GQ mansion, and we went up, and we weren't working there. We just got a ticket, and it was like the who's who of kind of Hollywood that was there. It was hilarious. So we just went straight up to the Glenfiddich bar, and I remember there was a Heineken. They had a recording studio.
Yeah,
Heineken sponsored that, so we went down there and we were just like playing the drums and then the like singing stupid shit.
Yep.
And then Adrian Grenier from Entourage, the guy who plays Vinny Chase, his band was playing. It was a bluegrass band.
No, they were playing. Not that night. They were playing his own house party.
No. They were playing at that night. We missed it.
All right.
We missed that. Yeah.
From drinking whiskey?
Yeah, because we were drinking whiskey. So I went up to him afterwards, and we were both kilted up, And I went up to the band, and it was like the guitarist, who was called Ari Gold, which is kind of funny because remember there was an Ari Gold in Entourage as well.
I do. Yeah.
And then he invited us back to the house.
Because they were going to do his own house, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were going to do another gig there.
Yeah.
So we jumped in this car with Nadia, and we had a load of Glenfiddich to take to the party, obviously.
And no glasses.
And no glasses. So we're like, Nadia, have you not got any glasses here? And then you reach under the seat and find her brand new stilettos.
There's a box of shoes. So we poured our whiskey into a brand new pair of shoes and drank it from that. And actually, I think we ended up having to take them into the party.
We did. We walked into the party.
Sipping.
You had one stiletto, I had the other. And we were literally, and people were coming up to us like, excuse me, are you drinking whiskey out of a stiletto? And we're like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
It's the new thing here. Everyone in LA is drinking out of stilettos. So if you see people in Los Angeles drinking out of shoes, you know where the trend started.
I need to find that picture, man, because there's a picture of me looking like I had, excessive brand loyalty, hanging out with Adrian Grenier.
Sounds about right.
Just do a selfie, mate. Come on, get in here.
Oh man, look at us name dropping. I'd say I was always told it was bad manners to name drop.
It's never stopped you though, mate.
It was Clint Eastwood that taught me that. All right, man, let's get on with this episode. I'm excited for you to be here. It's great to sit literally across the table for the first time since last night. We're going to share a dram together again, but it's been over 7 years since Mitch and I have been together in the same space, so we're really excited to hang out and to share this moment with you guys as well. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to smash that like button, make sure to smash that follow button on Instagram, and specifically on whatever you are listening to this podcast right now. We want you to follow us and make sure that you can hear when we drop every episode.
Nice plug, mate.
Thanks, brother.
You're getting well at that. You had some PR training recently. It's good.
No, I'm just a couple of whiskies in.
Well, yeah, I mean, what we're going to do is we thought we'd get into the news because there's a lot going on. This is silly season right now. As we record this is when all the companies are ramping up, bringing out all their expressions, going into the colder period, obviously. So it's kind of like buses, there's nothing going on and then suddenly there's a shit ton of stuff going through. So we're going to get into that. And one of the bits of news that I wanted to pick up first off is the opening of the Port of Leith. And this is very appropriate for me because a good friend of the show. The distillery,
we should make a point. It's a distillery, not just the Port of Leith.
The Port of Leith is opening back up again. QE2's coming in. Yeah. No, the Port of Leith distillery. And, Ian Sterling we've had on the show before, a good friend of the show. We're going to get him back on. He's a little bit busy opening his distillery right now. But they did their big opening on Tuesday, and on Saturday, Ian took myself and a group that I had from over in the Netherlands round the distillery for a sneak peek, mate, which was really cool to see.
Yep.
So this is Scotland's, I think it might be the world's first ever vertical whiskey distillery, which is stunning to see. So when you go in, you basically take the elevator all the way up to the 9th floor. So he took us right up to the top first.
Yep.
And they've got this stunning bar, and the views are amazing because it's 360. So one side you're looking over Edinburgh, and you're looking over the Royal Yacht Britannia sitting right there.
Yep.
Then obviously the other side you're looking over East Lothian, and then the other side of it you're looking over to Fife.
That's stunning.
And just insane views. And then obviously one of the other sides you're looking over Leith and the whole docks and everything there as well.
Cracking.
And the bar they've put in is obviously not just Port of Leith whiskey because they don't have any right now.
Yep.
But it's a full-on whiskey bar. So I think they must have about 350, 400 whiskies behind that bar.
Nice.
They're going to do a food offering.
About the same amount that you get sent in samples every week, right?
But yeah, I mean, so I'm super excited to go back there and just sit at that bar, man, and just watch the world go by and drink a couple of really nice whiskies. And as you go down, it's really cool because you have this whole experience of going down and seeing the whole production process. On the bottom floor is obviously where the stills are. So it's great to see that, and well done to Ian for opening up. I know that's been a big dream of his for him and Paddy. I think it was 10 years that they started distilling in their back garden.
Wow.
Started making whiskey, and they always wanted to make a whiskey. Yeah.
That's it. Illicit distilling. I love it. Good for them.
But yeah, we're going to get Ian on just to talk about like the opening, and hopefully we'll get him on once they've started making some whiskey as well. you know, to find out how that all went when the first bit of New Mix Spirit ran through the stills and stuff. So
very cool. Yeah. Well, on other news, talking about new releases, our friend Casper McRae, who's heading up Glenmorangie, will be delighted because obviously Bill Lumsden is prolific in creating new and fun things at this time of year, and they have just released their second A Tale of whiskey. I think the first one was A Tale of Cake. Maybe they've done A Tale of Forest. Or is that just called the Forest bottling?
I can't remember if that was A Tale of as well, but yeah, definitely Tale of Cake.
So definitely A Tale of Cake, which is a bottle sitting right here behind me at the moment. Great whiskey. But they've just put out a new whiskey called A Tale of Tokyo. Shocking, right? A whiskey company in Scotland using Japanese Mizunara oak barrels. It's becoming more and more prevalent, but obviously with Bill Lumsden, I'm expecting nothing but exceptional quality. Like, first of all, I don't think I've ever had a whiskey from Glenmoe that I didn't love. Like, I genuinely don't think I've ever had a whiskey from them that I've not just not liked, but absolutely loved. Going, this is fantastic. Like, I love what they produce as a distillery. This is obviously, Japanese Mizunara oak, as you know, is very rare and very difficult to work with. They have worked with a different Japanese artist, Akira Yamaguchi, has designed the artwork for all the packaging. So it features Tokyo's multifaceted nature, and the whiskey's flavours are really kind of inspired by this kind of tale of Tokyo, using the Mizunara oak. It's pretty cool.
I thought you were going to do your tasting notes there in the style of Bill Lumsden.
Well, here's the thing, Mitch. It's a delicious whiskey. It's got notes of pepper, where there's bitter cherries, coconut blends with orange zest. I can't do it as well. I can't do it as well, can I?
Well, I mean,
we need Brendan on.
When Brendan did it, he went, it's a little bit camp, but that was like turbocharged on that note.
Sorry, Bill. We do want Bill Lumsden on the show.
He's not coming on now after that.
If he's listening to this in his car drive up to the distillery, he'll just be like, that Pollacchi's a fucking arsehole.
No. But we need to get. Do you know what would be cool? Getting Bill and Casper on at the same time.
100%. So that's a £76 bottle, so $92 or $93 when it comes out to the US market. I shall be picking up a bottle of it, just to give it it'd be great to see, because obviously, like, the house style of Glenmoe is kind of more sweet vanillins, toffee notes that they get from their American oak bourbon barrels, and things like, almond, marzipan, and mandarin. I think, having that kind of the Mizunara oak driving that kind of incense, coconut, kind of sandalwood note as well that you get there. It'll be interesting to see how those flavour profiles balance off each other. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I think, to your point earlier, it's so interesting how we're seeing a lot of Scotch whisky companies now kind of tipping their hat or maybe jumping on the bandwagon a little bit when it comes to Japanese. This Japanese kind of thing that's hot at the moment.
Hey, look, here's what I'd say. It's flattering, it's great because these two countries are intrinsically linked in their whiskey making profiles anyway, right? Yeah. But I think that if you're going to make a Japanese inspired whiskey, know your market, right? If you're going to just decorate things with cherry blossoms, make sure the barrels you're using come from places that actually have cherry blossom trees growing in them, which we've seen a few faux pas across the board. We won't name any names, but we have seen a few things that have made me go, looks like people are just using Japanese for the value that Japan and Japanese whiskies tend to have right now.
It's almost like you should open or start up your own company with Japanese whiskey, mate. Have you thought about that?
Should be, you could. What?
Right, on to other news. Again, close. I'm going to go back to Edinburgh here because Edinburgh is going nuts
mate,
right
you just left there.
I know. Sorry, mate, I'm out. Holyrood has just brought out The Arrival, which is their first ever single malt to be released, which is kind of exciting to see. I mean, you look at Holyrood and I haven't got the notes in front of me as to when they actually opened up, but it's been a while. I mean, I reckon, well, maybe, I don't know, we need to look that up. Maybe it is just 3 years, but yeah, they can't be far off. But anyway, The Arrival's just come out, pretty reasonably priced, £67 a bottle, and 46.1%, no age statement on it, been matured in Oloroso butts, Pedro Jimenez casks, along with some hogsheads, bourbon barrels, and rum barriques. So this is limited to 8,188 bottles, and that's it. So cool to see the Holyrood Distillery bringing a single malt out. We're looking up right now, and it was 2019 when it came out. So yeah, they're legal, obviously, because they're bringing out a whiskey. So it's just over 3 years now. But yeah, I mean, great spot. I'd like to go and check out the Holyrood Distillery again, because we interviewed Mark and Nick way back in the show. They've both left the distillery now, so I don't know who's kind of running it all, and I need to reconnect with those guys. I'm getting a sample sent, Nicholas, but unfortunately it didn't arrive in time for bringing it over here, so we can't talk about it. But we will mention it in another episode when I get my lips around it.
Very cool. We'll be calling that episode When You Get Your Lips Around It. On to other, speaking about old whiskies, from new whiskies to old whiskies, not just old whiskies, but the oldest bottle of whiskey has been found at Blair Castle.
This is a cool story.
This is a cool story. So, basically hidden behind a cellar door. I mean, people dream about finding shit like this, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, this is the stuff of legend. So at Blair Castle in Perthshire, hidden behind a cellar door, 24 bottles of what's been called the world's oldest Scotch whisky have been uncovered, and they're about to hit the auction block. So this is really, really cool. They think it was distilled back in 1833 and bottled in 1841, making it really, I mean, that's a genuine relic from the past. Really, really, really cool. So they're going to dive into this liquid. They think it said that a young Queen Victoria herself may have savoured this whiskey from her visit to Blair Castle with Prince Albert in 1844. And you've got a Prince Albert, don't you, Mitch?
Yeah.
Well, but it's pretty cool. Like, I just think that this is, that behind it they unearthed 40 bottles of this rare gem, and yeah, they think it was rebottled in 1932. So
and
what's going on?
What a great place to find it, because Blair Castle, Keepers of the Quake, tie in there.
100%.
Where we went to get keepered.
Yep.
That amazing night. So really nice tie into whiskey with regards to that as well.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. Like this, I love it when things like this happen. Like, I think it's really cool, because that really is, it's like a Polaroid photograph of whiskey history. And it'll be really interesting to see what it goes for. I think they're expecting it to go about $10,000 per bottle. So obviously not a lot of people are going to be able to go out and buy that or then share it, I wouldn't imagine. But hopefully one or two of them will find their way to a couple of whiskey bars in Scotland, and that people can go in and buy a reasonable dram.
That'd be cool, right? Who would sell that though?
I mean, I don't know. I think if you could, well, if it was a 1 ounce pour, or say it was a half ounce pour, you get 50 measures. So if they wanted just to sell it at cost.
What a great bit of PR for a bar, though. I mean, I suppose there are bars out there
that happens.
They have more expensive bottles than that.
So they have it here. It's called break-even bottles. So there's a bar. Yeah, I swear to God, I was just in a bar in Arizona, and it wasn't like you wouldn't have gone, this is like a really high-end whiskey bar. It was like a burger joint almost, like doing burgers and grilled chicken sandwiches and wings. And they had one of the best bourbon and Scotch whiskey collections I've ever seen. And they bought actually a bottle of Shibui 23-year-old. And I was like, really? Like, I was delighted, but quite kind of shocked. And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll make this a break-even bottle. Wow. So they just took the bottle cost, divided it by the amount of drams that they were going to pour, and like, if we break even on it, that's fine. People can come and try it, and it lets people get excited about a new whiskey. And I thought that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah. I have seen that before. It tends to happen a lot in Scotland, actually. The big whiskey bars will do a break-even bottle.
Aye.
What's the most amount of money you've ever dropped on a dram of whiskey in a bar?
On a dram of whiskey?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you. I'm going to be embarrassed.
Why? Because it's like £2.50?
No, because it's so high.
Okay. We'll say it together on the count of three and see which one's higher, right?
All right. What am I saying? What the total bill was?
Just one dram.
Just one dram.
One dram. Right. 1, 2, 3.
700. Oh, there you go. $5,000.
Yeah.
What? Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Let's rephrase it.
Not my money.
There you go. I knew, I was waiting for that. Of course, the man's never bought a fucking whiskey in his life. Comes up here with all these cask samples and all the things that get sent to his house. There you go. So $5,000. What was it?
Glenfiddich 50-year-old.
There you go.
We went to Hawaii, and I'd agreed with the distributor that I was going to open the bottle, and he said that he was going to speak to the restaurant and get a price. He forgot to do that. they're actually selling it for $7,000 for a 2-ounce pour.
Wow.
And they did me a deal for $5,000.
That's wild.
Yeah. I'd phone my boss going like, hey,
What's the most of your own money you've ever spent in a bottle?
On a bottle? Probably not that much, actually. I haven't ever bought like a crazy expensive bottle like you've got here.
King of grift strikes again. I've seen your back bar. There's some expensive bottles on that. So
not too crazy. 600 maybe.
Oh, there you go. That's still a lot of money.
Yeah. What about you?
$9,500.
Oh, fucking hell. Is that here?
It's here, yeah.
Which one?
The 1968 Glenrothes Extraordinary Cask was $9,500.
Wow.
I know. And see, to be fair, right next to it is the Dalmore Ashram 40, and that's not far off.
We're going to crack that later on tonight, right?
I think that's
getting spanked tonight.
These are good. Exactly. We'll be. That's when you're like 6 or 7 shibuis in, and you're like, I don't know, just open them. It's for drinking.
Mate, you need to put them up in the attic or something. That's dangerous. I mean, I could reach that. I'm pretty small, but I could definitely I'm going to give it a try later on tonight.
Oh man. So, right, are we going to drink a whiskey here, or will we get through the rest of the news and then crack on?
Well, I want to talk a little bit first before we crack this whiskey that we have.
Yeah.
I want to talk another new whiskey distillery in Scotland that's just launched, which is Harris.
Yep.
So the Harris distillery just...
And by the way, fucking bravo, because I hear nothing. The bottle is one killer. The packaging is beautiful. I've already had people texting me from Scotland saying this shit's outstanding, and I think it's sold out already.
Yeah, unfortunately, this was another one that I was meant to bring over.
Shocking.
And it didn't arrive in time because
oh, it didn't arrive, and then I'll see the photographs of the 2 bottles.
But Callum has sent me a bottle, so thank you, Callum. Again, I'll give that a taste, and we'll chat about it. But great to see this actually launching for the first time, because they've been open 8 years, dude. I was there in 2021. We did a tour. Great distillery. They're killing it with their Harris gin as well. These guys now employ 48 full-time staff. So you think about a little island like Harris, that's a big deal, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
When we talk about, and I chatted about it with Rassie as well, with Alistair Day, him employing 20 people over in Rassie. These small islands, to have this going on is massive. So anyway, their new whiskey is called Hierich, I think it's pronounced, and that's a local in Harris. That's what they're called. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. It's available now. However, I looked online before we started recording, and everything online with regards to their own website is completely sold out. They released 8 different batches. So different, I don't know if it was different finishes with the batches, or if it was that was just the batches, but I'll look into that more when I try it later on. But £65 a bottle, mate. And the bottle is stunning.
It's really nice.
When we tried the new make, because they didn't have any whiskey when we went round the distillery, but the new make was banging.
Yeah.
Really good juice. So I'm excited to see that come out.
Yeah.
It's great to see these new craft distilleries starting to release now. And seeing that happening.
But craft, but like with real quality behind it as well. Like their gin is exceptional. Their packaging's baller. But that does not make a great whiskey, obviously, right? But I can't wait to taste it. My expectations are high, and from what I've heard, they will be met, if not exceeded. So I'm really excited for them. So congratulations to the guys at Harris Gin,
absolutely,
and Harris Distillery. Sorry, I can't wait to try your whiskies.
Yeah. Well, now I think we should start drinking some whiskey, because
one last piece of news.
No, we're going to come back to that.
Fine. That's
going to be the end one.
All right, okay, cool.
Because we're celebrating with the dram.
All right, okay, let's pull them up
celebration.
Then. Michael Tor, man.
Michael Tor. I was looking after some clients, and I got an email from, a couple of weeks back, I got an email from the guys at Glenelg saying, do you want to come up to the distillery? We're doing a new launch. They didn't tell me anything, what was going on, obviously, but unfortunately I was busy, so I couldn't go along to the launch of this. But they gave us a nice little press pack with all 4 of the whiskies here. So just to kind of explain what Michael Tor is, as some of you may remember, if you're a long-time listener to the podcast, I interviewed Billy Walker quite a few episodes back, which was Probably one of the best interviews I think we ever did.
It's hands down. I wasn't there for it, so maybe that's why you're saying it. I wasn't there for that interview, but hands down, one, he's an absolute, like, Billy Walker for knighthood, by the way, like Sir Billy Walker. Whenever you're ready, right? Let's get this man in front of the king and get him knighted, because this man deserves it. What he's done for the Scotch whisky industry is magnificent. You know, his history of bringing back Glendronach, Benriach, Glenglassaugh from mothballed to fucking hero status, and then going up and then taking the same reins with Glenallachie and now creating Michael Tor in that brand home, which is now their peated whiskies, and using very specifically, you were telling me. Well,
but this is the other big thing, Nicholas, right? So you think about everything that Billy's brought out with Glenallachie was not to do with him directly. Yes, he recast it all, but he didn't actually make the spirit, because he didn't make spirit, but released the blend. This is his spirit, baby, right? So this is only 5 years old, and they put that on the label. So 4 different expressions that have been released, and we're gonna go through them all really quickly, right?
Sure, why not? We'll start with the original.
Yeah. So I poured myself a little bit of this already.
Oh, it didn't help pour one for me, thanks.
No,
mate.
I didn't. Well, you know, you've got arms.
Let me get this. Here we go.
So yeah, the original. This is punchy, mate. This is like 50% ABV.
Yep.
As you said as well, you know, I think the great thing that I love about this is Billy's talking about terroir of peat and how this is using Highland peat, which we've talked about on the show before. We did a whole episode on peat and different types of peat. So when you're using Highland peat, the real difference is that peat is going to get influenced from these more woody characteristics, right? Yeah. You look at an Islay single malt Scotch whisky, it's going to be completely influenced by this more maritime note, because you're going to get seaweed within the peat. You're going to get this maritime note coming through from the island being there. So what this does, it takes out a lot of that maritime note within all of these that I've kind of briefly noticed.
This is fucking killer.
It's good, right?
It's like a hug from the Highlands.
So this is all American wood?
So this is all first fill bourbon barrels. It's American virgin oak, first fill bourbon barrels, American virgin oak, and some rye barrels in here as well for that spiciness. This is 35 parts per million. It's natural colour, non-chill filtered, 50% ABV, as you were saying. It's brilliant. The nose on this is exceptional.
I think the interesting thing they've done here as well is when you said 35 parts per million, that's in the bottle.
That's in the spirit, yeah.
That's not the parts per million of the actual barley, which a lot of people talk about, right? I mean, traditionally we always talk about the barley being the parts per million there.
Yep.
They're not doing that here, which is kind of refreshing to see, because I think it should be like that.
Yeah, what you're actually getting. Yeah. But this, I mean, that's high. So 35 parts per million. That's up like at Ardbeg level, right?
Yeah.
So on the palate, let's give it a sip.
I didn't add any water, even though that's 50% ABV. That's totally fine for me without any water. I think it'd be interesting.
That's absolutely fantastic.
There's like a nice smoke to it. It's like a clean smoke, you know?
Yeah, this is my kind of peated dram.
Yeah. I
have to say, this is really well made. The quality, even at that young age, that 5-year-old, it's just got an elegance to it. It's really pretty. It's got a
really nice mouthfeel.
Yep. Oh man, look, it's almost got like this almond marzipan note. The smoke comes up in the back end, but this is real fun.
Nice sweetness to it as well.
Yep. Well played. BW strikes again.
So that's the original.
That is the original. Look, we've got a few to get through, so let's go and batter on to the next one.
Yeah. Crack on.
I'm gonna.
One of the things we never said we would do in the show was sit through like a load of whiskies and taste them, but you know, I
can smell children skipping in a meadow of daffodils.
I remember someone once said to me...
The barley was grown by left-handed people and harvested on a Tuesday.
Do you ever get people saying to you like really stupid tasting notes? I mean, everyone noses and tastes differently, right? And that's fine. But I remember someone saying to me once, I don't really like smoky whiskies because it's like eating a Band-Aid, eating a plaster.
Yeah.
I was like, well, when have you done that? Why would you do that? Right? That just doesn't make sense.
I know. What's the the Whiskey Association bar in Edinburgh?
Oh yeah,
Scotch Malt Whisky.
Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, there is a whiskey in their menu, and and the tasting note is it smells like a used condom.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Right, so what have we poured here, mate? The sherry
Sorry for doing that in the middle of Billy Walker's tasting, because this stuff is nothing. Yeah, sorry, Billy. This is killer.
This is the sherry one?
This is the sherry one. Guess what it's matured in, Mitch?
Tequila casks.
It is 100% ex-tequila. No, this is American oak ex-bourbon barrels, followed by Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry puncheons.
See, this is my least favourite combination, smoke and sherry.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I haven't nosed this yet. So
it dials it down. So the sweetness, like, it's like I always like Jerry Tosh and I were always talking about this when we were up at Highland Park. You know, if you use an American oak bourbon barrels, the smoke will pop through a little bit more. The minute you add sherry, the sweetness of the sherry barrels and that spice and oak will start to dial the smoke down.
Yeah.
I like this. This has got another killer nose on it. It's still 35 parts per million. This is a little bit lower. It's 48% ABV. Notes of cigar box, figs, coffee, and treacle.
That is a really well put together dram. It's not my cup of tea. And you know why? It's that tannic, that big sherry bomb thing that just doesn't agree with my palate.
I love this. I think it's killer.
Yeah,
I do. I really like it. Actually, the cigar box note on this, because it smells that kind of like this, almost like cedar, and when you open a brand new box of cigars, like the wrappers, whatever the final wrapper's been on the cigar itself. This is really good.
So 48% ABV on that one. So everything's all natural colour and non-chill filtered on this as well, which is nice to see. So the next one, I think this what might be more my cup of tea. So this is the Chinkapin one, as it's called.
Where's it gone?
Where is it, mate?
Oh, here.
Right there. So Chinkapin one, we've got, again, 5 years old, as everything is, 35 parts per million. American oak and bourbon barrels, followed by a Chinkapin virgin oak finish. Which
Chinkapin, Spanish for 5 pins.
Chinkapin's hot right now. Spanish.
5 pins. Oh, no, it's that. See, even in person, the jokes are bad.
Wait, is that my one? Do you call me one?
See, in person, my jokes are good. It's on Zoom that my jokes aren't funny.
They don't come through.
Because I'm not remotely funny.
Did you pour me? Is that my one? You're not remotely. Oh, fucking hell! That took a while. I was thinking.
We're 4 whiskies in of cast strength juice.
Well, yeah, we're just topping up from last night.
Correct.
Is that my one?
No,
You just poured yourself?
Yeah.
Are you getting revenge, are you?
Yeah,
okay, let's see how this is rolling. Where is it? Yeah, right.
There you go.
What do you think of this one?
The nose on this is exceptional. They're all really good. The smoke style down on this, I think, for me.
Do you know what I love about this is
either that or
they've put 5 years on an age statement here. I mean,
which I love. Yeah, because it's 5 years old.
When was the last time you saw a 5-year-old age statement on a whiskey? I want to say it was Ardbeg. That was the last one that I saw.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I like that.
I like it too. This is maybe my favourite so far.
Yeah. What are we talking price point in this?
Don't know. I've not seen it.
Yeah, I haven't got the information here.
I can try and Google it up. It's almost like we have a computer. If only there was a device in front of us that could tell us information.
Right in front of us. That'd be so handy.
Exactly.
So, notes on this. Let's have a look here. I want this with a little bit of water. We haven't got any. Why have we not got any water? It's like amateur hour. 48%. We've got. So, tasting notes here: burnt licorice, honey, ginger, butterscotch, orange peel.
49 quid.
All of them?
I'm just looking up. So the 49 pounds, but I'm just looking up. Like, you can find them anywhere. Alternatively, they're anywhere from about 41 to 45, give or take. I just found it on a little website. The fun folks at Masters of Malt have it there for $49.99, same as Whisky Exchange. It's on there for $49.95.
That smoke really. I just found some water, so we're not that.
Oh yeah, I brought you water, like nice water as well, filtered and reverse osmosis, motherfucker.
Spoiling me here with your reverse osmosis.
Exactly, reverse osmosis.
Let's buy me dinner first, only. Now a little bit of water. That's really opening up the smoke. Big time. It was because it was kind of close. That's 48.
I like it though, like that. Like, I find I think it's pretty nice. I'm going to put some water in it as well, but we'll see. But
okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm digging this so far. This is the final one that we're going to try out of the 4 is going to be the turbo. So I'm interested in checking this one out. Again, 5 years old. This is 50% ABV, and this is 71 parts per million, Nicholas. So get some of that poured for us. So this talks about taking the heart of our distillate, the spirit cut, which contains the highest phenol content. The turbo entails an amplified smoky identity. I think the other thing to mention with this, right, is this is very different from normal Craigellachie, because what Billy Walker did when he took over the distillery was lengthen the fermentation time.
Yep.
So he took it to 160 hours. So this is going to be very different from the normal Glenallachie that's out there with regards to the new mixed spirit that's gone in, right?
Yeah, this is killer. Whew, let's have a taste. Wow.
This is like end of the night one, right?
That is end of the night. It's not campfire. It's just a great smoke on it. It's almost like,
one of the things I'm noticing is there seems to be a running theme of like a nice sweetness to it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
through
like,
all of them.
It's got a chocolate. Like it's like you get the smoke and then there's like almost like a dark chocolate like thing sitting on all of it. I think they're brilliant.
What's this? What's the turbo aged in again? Let's have a look here.
Fucking Billy Walker for First Minister, man. What are we doing here? Why is this guy not running the show for everything? So if you can make whiskey this good, what else can you do, Billy?
Yeah. So maturation on this one, American ex-bourbon barrel, followed by Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry puncheons. Yeah, but yeah, great work, Billy. And
well
thank
played.
you, the guys at Glenallachie, for sending them through to us.
Yeah.
That's the first official tasting that we've done on the show, mate.
It is the first official tasting, and we've managed to do it in person together. So
And
even better to mark this beautiful moment of you and I.
Yeah.
7 years in the desert. Finally finding our way back together.
Right. Yeah.
You never write, you never call. You've not seen the kids in weeks. I'm claiming alimony. So this is what a great way to do it. By the way, these whiskies are killer.
I'm really impressed with them.
Can't wait for them to get. I don't know if they're available in the US market. If not, can't wait for them to get out here. The Craigellachie is here, and I need to go out and pick up some bottles of that as well. To be fair, and add to the collection here behind me, because those I have tried the 15 when I was in a whiskey bar a couple of weeks ago. I picked up a dram of the 15-year-old. Have you tried that? It is.
Oh yeah.
That might be one of the best whiskies I've had from Scotland in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for me, it's the closest visitor centre to my house. So 5 minutes up the road, I'm into the shop, and they've got some great distillery exclusives as well.
Look at you, Mitch, segueing the fuck into our last piece. Yeah, I did like that. I don't know if that was deliberate or not. But speaking of visitor centres, the news is out from the SWA that Scotch whisky visitor centres are back, and back in a great way. So footfall is more than doubled compared to 2021. So we've got 114% compared to 2021. 2.1 million people visited Scotch whisky centres in 2019. That was a record high, and we're right back there. We're at 2 million people now, so almost back to pre-pandemic days. This is great news. It almost, Mitch, if one of us actually had a company that used to take people to see Scotch whisky distilleries, that would be a great business for one of us to get into.
Yeah, I mean, should maybe open one of them, eh?
Copper Cairn. What? Excuse me. So Copper Cairn, Mitch, this is your business, man. This is what you do. Like,
dude, I'm so happy to see this, because it was obviously with COVID hitting, visitor centres just plummeted.
Yep.
For obvious reasons.
Correct.
And I didn't think that it would get to this level so quickly. I mean, they're saying like this is just not far off what it was pre-pandemic levels, right? I mean, was it 2 million visitors?
Yeah.
And the spend per head as well. You see that?
Yeah, spend per head's up like crazy. So the report is that they're looking at, so they're saying spend per visit centre has increased by 8.65%. So £85 million or $104 million was spent at sites across Scotland's 5 whisky regions, which is up 90% since 2010.
That's insane.
But here's what I love about this: 50% of the visitors are from the UK. So this is us celebrating what I mean, like there are obviously, you know, for people who live in France or people who live in Italy, they'll take you to cognac regions and wine regions, and it's almost inherently, intrinsically part of the culture of that country that people go and visit those things on the weekends. 50% of our visitors are homegrown, and I love that. The rest of the demographic coming obviously from USA, Germany, Netherlands and France, other parts of Europe as well. We'll be making up some other parts there, but those are the bigger players. And you know yourself, Mitch, you're hosting people every week. Like you're the busiest man I've ever met in Scotland right now. Like every day I speak to you, it's a miracle that we put this podcast together, because you're calling in from all over Scotland. You're calling me in from distilleries. You're taking breaks from groups that are coming in from all over the world, and you really are a champion and a custodian of getting people to see these distilleries with Copper Cairn.
But you know what? I'd also like to shout out. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. But I'd like to shout out to all the people that work at distilleries. I know it's a tough job, and I know a lot of them now, with obviously doing Copper Cairn and visiting all these distilleries a lot of time. And it's, you know, they do such an amazing job of hosting people, hosting so many different nationalities, really kind of going out their way as well to make it special. You know, and not just the tour guides, but the people that are more like behind the scenes. So you've got the likes of, you know, Colin Hart from Glenturret. Michelin star now. Amazing. Two Michelin stars that they've got. Unbelievable. First distillery to get it in Scotland. You got Tom Jolly up in Macallan, like putting together an amazing experience up there. You know, all the guys that I work with at Glenalky, which you've just talked about. You know, that visitor centre is unbelievable. The guys up at Glenfiddich and Balvenie doing it every day. So, you know, all these people. I've kind of just touched on Speyside there, and obviously the guys in Islay are always amazing, and everywhere else in Scotland. But yeah, it's a tough gig, man, and it's not surprising to me to see that the spend has gone up 90% in over 10 years, because you look at the offering that these guys give now. It's so much more. You think about like 2010, what were they doing? Like little tea towels maybe, and you know, a little bit. It was a bit tartan. Hello and welcome to the distillery. and now it's not like this is a well-oiled machine, and it's not, doesn't mean that everything's luxury. I don't think that's the thing. I think it's just more authentically Scottish, like Scotland Now, which is this, you know, diverse group of people, you know, multicultural, celebrating something and bringing people in from all over the world to join in and feel inclusive. And that's what I love about it. Like it's the experiences are amazing. The distillery tours are fantastic. The value that these tour guides give is exceptional. So yeah, I'm with you. Congratulations to every single one of these distilleries, you know, from Deanston to Glenglassaugh and everything in between. So it's super cool. It's really. A bit too weird distilleries. Not weird distilleries, but... Well, that's it. Well, you gave a shout out to all the big ones. I was trying to think of some smaller ones that might appreciate a little bit of love. You could have done Bladnoch to Highland Park. Is that the most northerly? It is, right? There is one more northern, isn't there? Well, there's going to be Shetland Distillery coming online soon. That'll be the most northerly. That will be the most northerly, yeah. There you go. Anyway, what are we going to do now, mate? Drink more whiskey. We're going to drink more whiskey. We're going to sign off on this episode. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. As always, it's a blast to cover the news with you. We will be back next week with another guest, and we're super excited for you to join us. So again, follow us, tap that like button, tap that follow button, follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're following us on wherever you're hearing this podcast. We appreciate every last one of you. Thanks very much. Slán Siva. Cheers, bro. Cheers. Bye. Bum, bum, bum.